السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ردوا السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
إلقاء السلام سنة. It's recommended to start salam. But once somebody started saying the salam, to reply is what?
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بارك الله فيكم. You got 30 حسنات. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and may the best of peace and blessings be on the soul of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We continue with Al-Aqeedah, or the Creed, and we are handling the book of Al-Imam Tahawiyyah, Abu Ja'far, the essentials of faith, the essentials of Islamic faith. And we touched last time on قال رحمه الله تعالى: نقول في توحيد الله معتقدين بتوفيق الله أن الله واحد لا شريك له. We regard, with regard to Allah Azza wa Jalla as oneness, Tawheed, we say the following: hoping for Allah's good grace, Tawfiq. Allah is one and has no associates. Allah is واحد لا شريك له. Right? And we talked about the types of Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Can I have everybody in the Musalla quiet, please? I need no noise in the Musalla, please. No noise in the Musalla, أحبابنا الله يبارك فيك.
The battery here is low. I'm gonna put you mine. Is that okay?
You can use it. مش هتخلص الحاجة إن شاء الله. So Allah Azza wa Jalla واحد, one and only. The Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes into two main categories: Tawheed إثبات ومعرفة, وتوحيد قصد وطلب. What do you mean? Tawheed of confirmation and knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and confirmation of His attributes. يعني معرفة الله is to know Allah Azza wa Jalla as the only Lord, Rabb, and to know His features and attributes. Who is that Lord? And to know it right. That He is the only Lord. What do you mean by only Lord? The only creator. No one else makes anything with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to know His asma and sifat, names and attributes, that no one else has anything similar to that. That is, you can say, half of it. يعني إذا عرفت الله تعالى بأسمائه وصفاته. So, are you now موحد? Just by knowing Allah for who He is in the right way. Is that it? هل إذا عرف الإنسان الله عز وجل معرفة صحيحة هل هذا هو التوحيد؟ ردوا علينا أخوان. You will make it to Al-Jannah?
No.
Sisters. Just by knowing Allah and knowing Him with asma and sifat, that's enough for you to go to Al-Jannah? Here you go. We're not talking about worship. Did you know that Shaitan knew Allah? Shaitan.
Yes, he.
Did you know he accepted Allah as Lord, Rabb?
Yes.
Did you know he is accepted as at least as far as we know, a lot of the names and attributes of Allah? Did you know that he even made dua to Allah? Because he said, قَالَ رَبِّي فَأَنظِرْنِي. Shaitan said what? Rabbi, my Lord. So he accepts Allah as his Lord. That's Shaitan, the devil. قَالَ فَبِعِزَّتِكَ. He is swearing by, he said, by your majesty, O Lord, لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ, I will deviate them. In the beginning, right? We read that in the Quran. So the point is, he knows that there is Rabb, Lord. And he knows the attributes of Allah. He knows that أَنَّ لَهُ عِزَّةً. He accepts that Allah is Aziz. Allah Azza wa Jalla is Almighty. And he swears by that. And he is asking of Him, making dua, Rabbi, give me life. So he knows that Allah is the giver of life. يعني الشيطان عرف ذلك. مشركو قريش عرفوا ذلك. The mushrikun at the time of Rasulullah, they accepted Allah, they called Him Allah. And they used to worship Him also, but they mixed with Him some stuff. فعرفنا أن التوحيد الثاني هو المقصود. Now we know that the second kind of tawheed is why all prophets were sent, which is القصد, which is يقولون التوحيد الأول هو توحيد علمي، التوحيد الثاني هو توحيد عملي. The first one is to know Allah. علمي, it's knowledge, it's about knowledge, knowing Him, who is Allah, and that's very important by the way. في الحقيقة أن الأول هو دليل الثاني. The first one is the evidence, is the road to the second one. You know Allah through His creation, through Him being Lord. You know anything through the creation, through the صنعة, what He provides. كما نعرف مثلا على سبيل المثال في العلوم سموها ايه التشريح هذا ولا اسمه ايه؟ when they there is a crime scene, we don't know who did it. But there is a science, those people who come and investigate, they can tell you a lot of things. Just because one person was here and he was moving and touched a few things, they can tell you many times he's tall or short, how heavy he is from probably. They can give you almost a full image from how he looks and how much, even though this person was making his best to hide. But they can tell from what he left behind min صنعته, because he walked here, he touched this, he did that. Do you see the point? So we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant قصد أن يخبرنا عن ذاته بخلقه. He meant Allah Azza wa Jalla to tell us about Himself through His creation. أفمن يخلق كمن لا يخلق, He said, are they equal, the one who creates and the one who doesn't create? أيشركون ما لا يخلق شيئا, do they make associates with Allah, shirk with Allah? Those who cannot create, so the creation can tell us about Allah. But once we get to know about Him, that's not everything. That doesn't even save the person in the Day of Judgment. What saves is the second category, which is, did you work on that or not? Right? Did you work? Which is mentioned in Surah Al-Kafirun. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, say, all you who disbelieve, I don't worship what you worship. لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. You don't worship what I worship. Your direction is different from my direction. You're not going to worship what I worship. I'm not going to worship what you worship. You have your direction, your way. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ, your deen, and I have my deen. So what's important is not to know Allah. What's important is to worship Allah. And that is the meaning of taking Him as Ilah. As what? As God. As Ilah. So take Him as Lord, meaning, no, He's the one who makes everything. He is present. He is the most beautiful. All the names belong to Him. But that's not enough. Now, listen to Him. Imagine, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, you have children. Yes, they accept you. You are the father. She is my mother. Yes. But they curse you. They are not kind to you. They don't listen to you. They don't do anything. Do you think, does it make them good with you that they just accept you? Yes, you are my father. Does this make them good children by accepting you as a father or mother? No, but by acting on that. That is what is meant. That's why, subhanAllah, you see in all the missions of prophets, Nuh alayhi salam is sent. In the beginning of every way, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَٰهٍ. The first word they say, worship Allah. You have no God except Him. You see it in Surah Al-A'raf many times. Every prophet, Salih mentioned, sent to his people. Nuh sent to his people. Sayyidina Hud sent to Ad. اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَٰهٍ. So much so that Allah said, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدُونِ. We have not sinned. Allah is saying to Prophet Muhammad in the Quran, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have not sinned any prophet, any messenger before you, except that we tell him, the mission is worship Allah. To tell His people, worship Allah. مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَهٍ غَيْرُهُ. You have no God besides Him. So the main focus of the religions is work. Because very few people would deny the existence of Allah. Very few. Like Fir'aun, he denied the existence of God. He said, I am God, there is no God. But usually, like Christians, Jews, many of the even idol worshippers, Buddhists, they would accept certain kind of God. There is God. Very few would deny the existence of God. But what really matters is, do you follow this God or not? Do you go the direction that He is giving you or not? So the first item is أن الله واحد. He is one and He has no partners. He has no partners. What we will add for that on that today is ولا شيء مثله. There is nothing like Him, nothing equal to Him. So قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. ليس كمثله شيء. No one is equal to Him. No one is like Him. But Allah said what? ليس كمثله شيء. There is nothing like Him. وهو السميع البصير. And He is the all-hearing and all-seeing subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we do hear and we do see. We hear and we see. Allah Azza wa Jalla is Alim. And He said وَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ عَلِيمٍ. Allah has knowledge, Alim. And He said, we give glad tidings to Ibrahim of a child who will be Alim. We know he is Ra'uf Rahim, and He called Prophet Muhammad Ra'uf bil Mu'mineen Ra'uf Rahim, compassionate and merciful. Yes, but they are totally different. Allah lahu wujud, He has an existence, He exists. Wa ana liya wujud. Me and you, we have our existence. Are they equal? No. I have a beginning and end. Allah Azza wa Jalla has no beginning and no end. Does my existence compete with your existence? No. You exist and I exist. So existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is different from my existence. Lahu sam'u wa liya sam'u. Allah hears and I hear. But are they equal? Totally different. Allah sam'u, there is nothing to stop it. I can hear up to half a mile, whatever. I see, but there should be light that gets to the object, reflect on the object, gets into my eye, the retina, and then I should have a brain that works good, eye that works good, and then I can see. But does Allah see this way? No. Then there is something like a wall there. Behind the wall, can I see? No, there is something to block you. The sight of Allah is totally different. Nothing blocks it. It does not need anything outside. So, yes, we speak and we have sam' and basar, we hear, but for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have some kind of similarity, but it's not similarity at all. It's totally different. It's totally different. وَلَا شَيْءَ مِثْلَهُ. There is nothing is like Him Azza wa Jalla. He is the only one subhanahu wa ta'ala. So some people would say, no, anytime when we hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about Him having a hand, yadullahi fawqa aydihim, or a foot, as in some ahadith, or He comes, or He descends down to Sama' al-Ula, then nothing of that is true. We have to interpret it. We have to make interpretation. Yadullah, Allah's hand is with them, or over their hand, we means the support, the care, the guidance. That is actually not 100% accurate. Because, yes, Allah could have a hand, different than my hand, right? The hand, there is a hand for the door. Is the hand of the door like my hand? That's called the hand, my hand is called the hand, but that's totally different thing. So Allah, when it comes to the sifat, attributes, what should we do? نُفَوِّضُ الْأَمْرَ لِلَّهِ. We say, He talked about Him having a face. We don't think of that of Allah. How is that face? Big, small, two eyes? No, we don't think of that of Allah. We take it as is. And we say it is in such a way that only Allah Azza wa Jalla knows about it. Right? فَنُفَوِّضُ فِيهَا الْعِلْمَ لِلَّهِ. And we are not required to know how does it look like. What is really required from us is to get to think and reflect on the sifat, attributes of Allah. Him being Al-Ghafur, the merciful, the creator, the this and that, and worship Him based on that. Well, within the context of وَلَا شَيْءَ مِثْلَهُ, there is nothing like Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we accept Him Azza wa Jalla subhanahu wa tawheed. Him being the only one God is the first thing to get you to Islam, and is the last thing that you are required to leave this dunya with. Whoever dies while his last words from dunya is La ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah, he will make it to Jannah. So it is the first and the last thing of the Iman, and the most important thing. If you don't have it, nothing else will count. You don't have the Tawheed. Actually, we recited tonight, Allah addressing Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَقَدْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ. It has been given to you as wahi, inspiration given to you. وإلى الذين من قبلك, and to those before you, لئن أشركت, if you commit any shirk, ليحبطن عملك, all your action will be void. So let's pay so much attention, يا أحبابنا الكرام, to first, get to know Allah for who He is, because He described Himself in the Quran. Get to know the names, attributes of Allah. Avoid any shirk in Him being a Lord, thinking that anybody else could have created anything else. The shirk of nowadays, sometimes we think, no, some people think that the matter came by itself. It evolves out of nothing. God didn't make it, right? It just came like that. No, Allah is the maker. Or you think that some other people like graves, tombs can protect. That's shirk in al-asma' wal-sifat. ما لا ينفعهم ولا يضرهم. Those amulets, oh, that's for protection. Sheikh such and such. المقابر الفلانية. Sheikh. No. All of that is purely for Allah Azza wa Jal. And then when it comes to ibadah, to Allah being Allah, you worship Him alone. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. It's a decree from Allah to worship none except Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is one with no partners. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is the only God that should be worshipped. I conclude with this little story. Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah wa radiyallahu anhu, in Iraq, in Baghdad, he was there. And he was going to debate with some people who denied the existence of God. There's no God, there's no Lord, there's no creator for this world. He was going to argue with them. يعني ذهب إلى مجموعة يناظرهم كانوا يقولون بأنه لا خالق لهذا الكون. طيب جميل. And he said, before we get to our debate, قبل أن نتكلم وقبل أن نتناظر, let me just give you a little story. That's what he's saying. He said, أحدثكم عن سفينة. I will talk to you about a ship or a boat that goes from one bank of Dijla. It goes from one side, سفينة ترسو على شاطئ تحمل بذاتها تفرغ محتوياتها على الشاطئ الآخر ثم تعود بلا ربان بلا قائد. I'll tell you about a very nice story of this boat that goes by itself. There is no captain, and it loads itself with goods, materials. It goes to the other side, unloads everything, and comes back. قالوا هذا محال. He said, it's impossible. Are you crazy? He said, I'm telling you about a little boat that carries things by itself. There's no people to carry, and goes to the other side and comes, and you think this is impossible for a little boat to do that. And the entire universe that you see, sun is coming every day, water, plants, humans, animals, everything, and you think this is coming just like that. There is no leader, there is no creator, there is no manager. It happens just like that by itself. So he is giving them this logical hikmah. Wallahu a'lam. جزاكم الله خير وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين.